morning. This is a special moment. This is one of the very first times all three of the new babies are in the same place, in the same space, at the same time for you. So it's particularly because we are in Georgia. It means a lot for us to be here in Georgia. And on top of making sure that this is a special morning, we did want to do something a little bit different than what we have in the past as well. So we brought one of our head designers. John is here, and he is going to actually give you some information about all three of the products. Please feel free to mingle. Please feel free to do what you were doing before, but it's actually really cool information to have someone who has been pen to paper. Please use pen okay, sure. Pen to something to really actually animate these products and to bring them to life. So thank you again for being here. I'm going to turn it over to John. Woo! Woo!
Used to be in my life, used to sitting with our team designing these beautiful vehicles. So again, thank you all for being here. If you do want to come closer to R2, we're going to start walking around this beautiful vehicle, and then we'll kind of make our way to the back. Obviously R2 here, it's our next generation. Whenever you set out to create a next thing, the second album, whatever you want to call it, it's obviously a huge task. Our beautiful R1S outside and R1T over here. Capture the minds of all of you and obviously a lot more people too. So when we set out to design our next generation, it was hugely important that we kind of took everything good about those vehicles and applied them into a smaller, better, more efficient package. So the R2, kind of starting with the silhouette, you know, it still has the beautiful straight kind of roof line and more boxed out rear, this kind of two-box sort of design. Our customers, all of you, they love to adventure in our vehicles, right? They need functionality, they want the space for their kids, for their dogs, for their families, for their friends to be able to travel along with them. We deliberately wanted this vehicle to feel like that. We didn't want to lose the goodness of R1S and all it carries. Obviously in a smaller package, 5-seater, not a 7-seater. When you look across the vehicle, there was a lot of similarities to the R1S for sure. We did not want to throw everything out and start all over again. We wanted to take that goodness, starting with the front, obviously, very familiar sort of face, the iconic design language of our Rivians coming forwards. But the lights have a little bit more detail. They're a little bit more technical, they're a little bit slimmer. They've got a little bit more shape in them. They kind of come in and out as well. That was intentional. When you see our shape of our lights on R1, you know, they've got this beautiful down the road graphic. You've seen them from a mile away. You can say, that's a Rivian that's coming towards me. We wanted to hold on to that, but as you get close to them, there's that surprising delight. These beautiful little lines. We've got a new kind of design around the bushing that feels a little bit more technical, a little bit more mysterious, a little bit more crystal-like, and again, kind of feeling a little bit more premium as you get closer to them as well. We deliberately designed the vehicle to have more ground clearance. We lifted the vehicle up. A lot of EVs and the Myths, they're super low to the floor. We wanted our vehicle to feel adventurous. We want this vehicle to feel it can go places, it's not going to leave you stranded, whether that's in the snow, whether that's in the mountains, whether that's on the beach, wherever you would go. It's hugely important to us. Pulling the front wheels as close to the front end as possible and the rear wheels as close to the rear as possible allows a very short space between the center of the wheel and the front. Really good if you are starting to get a little bit adventurous and go through some little streams or across some dirt roads or up into the mountains. So that was deliberate. Again, nice chunky tires on this vehicle. Large wheels and tires are a big thing. It's all about proportions. You know, you look at our vehicles, they feel like they're comfortable on their wheels. The wheels don't look too small, they probably look a little too big, which is not a bad thing. And it gives you that feeling of stance, it gives you that feeling of strength. As you walk through, we're not showing it today, but we have a beautiful front underneath here, a little bit smaller than R1, but definitely class leading, still can fit all your groceries and bags. As you walk through to the inside of the vehicle, one of the key things to look at as you come around is our new steering wheel. It has these beautiful rotary dials left and right on the steering wheel. They control up, down, left, right, and in. They have a really beautiful haptic feel to it. Our team have done a phenomenal job kind of innovating in that space, allowing you to control the screen in front of you and a lot of other things too. Tons of space in the R2. Really fantastic legroom. Much better than I think a lot of the competition out there. If you do need more information on that, I'm sure Eagles is here or turning things again, the interior should feel like an extension of your life, right? A lot of cars you get into, they feel like a car interior. I think our Rivians feel like an extension of your home. They feel comfortable. The materials that we use feel familiar, from the floor mats to the kind of like fabric that we're using around the instrument panel on this. Lots of space through the middle. Again, you don't have that traditional transmission running through the vehicle, so you get all lots of space. Still using the lever levers as we go across there. The wood is actually recycled in the end. We're looking at whatever sort of sustainable materials we can use on the inside, sort of, even our exterior into plastics, how much recycled material we can use there. Incredibly important part into the plan as we move forward to our future products. The rear end is probably one of my favorite parts of our team for sure. Not many vehicles in this size of the space have this kind of box out rear to it. It feel functional. When we're designing all of these products, one of the phrases we've been using is modern nostalgia. This idea that it should feel like you've seen it before in many ways. So what are some of the other ways that we can kind of connect to a feeling that any one of you have had for vehicles in the past, whether it's a memory of a vehicle in your childhood. This vehicle, particularly being, it feels like what an SUV should feel like, right? It's not compromised, it's really quite spatial. It's packed full of functionality as well. We've got the power drop lamps here in the rear, which goes obviously up and down. If you're parked in a real tight parking spot or up and garage, you can access the stuff by getting in there. The seats fall into that, obviously we can put surfboards, the dog can hang out and sit out the back of it. It's a really beautiful space. We have power venting rear windows, which will allow more airflow through the vehicle. A little bit of another nod to that nostalgia. A lot of SUVs, minivans used to have that back in the day. And I think that feeling of open air with all the windows down is such a beautiful thing. We have this beautiful flow spoiler in the back here. Aerodynamics are hugely important to vehicle design in general. Efficiency, all of you obviously worry and focus around range. We want to make sure that every part of this car enhances the range of the vehicle. This allows the air to flow through, which still maintaining that very upright kind of rear. It channels the air down into the weight of the air flowing off the back of the vehicle. Hugely important. This is the rear brake light too, which kind of center spine, giving you a little bit more of a story feel. The lights in general have these beautiful details as well in the back here, these little silver motif. And it just gives you a little bit more interest. Those first, second, and third reads when we design a vehicle, like the first read should be the overall simplicity of it, you get that bit of a vehicle, and then you get these little second and third reads as you get closer to it and really start to see the details. Every line of the vehicle goes somewhere. You've kind of got these like connecting lines going around the car everywhere. On R2, which is a little bit different from R1, we have this single line here on the side that runs all the way around the vehicle. Kind of keys into the lines on the lamps and straight into the hood line. The different type of hood that we have on R2 compared to R1. You'll see some of the new UI, UX, so the user interface on the screens as well. Trying to be a little bit more playful with it as well. We have one of our artists, one of our designers actually drew the image in the middle. We really want the vehicle to feel a little bit more personal. Every vehicle we tune to have that screen look like your own personal vehicle. We're doing it in a little bit more of a fun, playful way, so we'll see some of that start to come. Hopefully I don't get trouble to touch on it, but we have this beautiful little function back here, which is a little tailgate table. Super fun little thing. It's a little table that pops up here, so if you're hanging out with your friends and family, getting ready to go out on a bike ride or trip, you set your beverage down right here and kind of enjoy it as it goes through. Kind of vanishes out and then comes back down again. So, great functionality with that. We're going to maybe some Q&A in the end. We'll just keep moving. So obviously R3 and R3X here too. Still our beautiful R1T here to the left as well. Really when we set out to design these vehicles, we knew we just didn't want to show just R2. Right? We wanted to show what else are we made of, what else can we do, what else can we channel, what sort of experiences do we want to provide for our customers. What I've loved about talking to a lot of you here and people over the last few days as well, is everyone seems to have a favorite. And we don't want to design one vehicle for everybody, right? We want to create a family of vehicles that meet your needs. channel what is important to you and your family and your friends. So obviously the R2, I like to call it the little sister of R1. It's not even a little brother, it's so different in many ways. Hopefully you see that when you're here and experiencing it in real life. But an R3 being the younger little child as well. There's a bit of a myth about smaller cars, I think, within North America especially, that they need to be small and cheap and they kind of compromise. For us, we want R3 to be none of that. We deliberately designed a vehicle that was quite small from a footprint, but felt very large inside. Even when you look at the shape of the windows, this kind of line, as you see up here, they're quite straight, they're quite upright. So when you get in the vehicle, all of that roof and that pillar feels quite far away from your head, making you feel very spacious on the inside. Again, having that front trunk gives you a lot more storage in a much smaller package. So if you've got your whole family full up with that, you've got all your bags in the back, you've still got space in the front to grab some groceries on the way. So that's a big part of what we do. The front end, very similar, keeping with our DNA, the lights have a similar sort of feeling to them. Again, shorter kind of front overhangs, lifting the vehicle up. Everything we do at Rivian, even if it has these more kind of on-road tires, we want to make sure that it has that capability. Our drivetrains, our motors, we're experiencing on R1, bringing all that goodness over to R3. R3 definitely a lot more playful. We wanted to channel that kind of like joy for driving. What does it feel like when you get in it? You just want to just put that foot down and have a good go with it as you get onto the highway or whatever you're doing. Even down to the mirrors, there's this beautiful kind of hill shape that you're starting to see it, some of the motifs that we have here kind of being transcended through some other design elements. Just a lot more playful. And that was a big part of it. We knew we wanted to do that. That was the right vehicle. But as we come to R3, we could be a little bit more playful. The back is a little bit faster, a little bit more sporty, and that was a big part of this vehicle. Again, modern nostalgia. It kind of has that sense that maybe you've seen the silhouette a little bit somewhere before, but just done in a very modern way. You don't know if it's a hatchback, you don't know if it's an SUV. That was intentional. We wanted it to feel like an R3. We didn't want it to feel like anything else. Interior very similar sort of instrument panel layout too. You've got the beautiful center screen still, a much smaller screen for the driver. We have dual glove boxes on all three vehicles. The right-hand one is open on this vehicle, but they have two glove boxes across it. The instrument panel, a little bit more simple on this one. Just trying to be a little bit more playful, using materials maybe instead of wood. Again, everyone in different segments, different stages of life, they like different things, right? So giving options to people. What some of you may or may not notice, we still have our flashlight in the driver's side door over there. It's definitely a brand-defining moment for us, it's something we don't want to get rid of. But we've actually brought a cradle into the passenger side as well. And what you're actually seeing here is our USB charger. So it charges on the same intersection, but it'll plug in with USB-C, it'll charge your phone, charge your GoPro, charge whatever you need. And also doubles as a hand warmer. That's a function where you can warm your hands. So if you're out hiking early in the morning, it's a little chilly, put it in your pocket. Just again, it's a beautiful interface for us to start to design many more products that could come into your R1s and everything. It'll be a consistent interface through all the products. So if you have an R1, you have an R2, you can swap them in between the two. So again, the faster back, again, the lines running around the vehicle, every line is there for a reason. And having the restraint to do less lines, more simple, beautiful surfaces, is actually probably the hardest thing as a designer. It's a lot easier to put crazy lines everywhere to kind of make things look lighter, to make things look different. To have the restraint to do simple, honest design is probably one of the hardest things I've done in my career. Everyone always wants, well, maybe it needs a little bit more. Maybe, it needs a bit of this. And it's like, no, it should be simple. It should be honest. It should be exactly what I want to do. So I think that the big story of that is the lines. Every kind of line goes somewhere, which is beautiful. It has a kind of traditional liftgate, but also has a flipper glass, so it's got a dual function. This part of it opens up to be able to access directly into there, and also has a much bigger liftgate as a comfort too. We have our signature kind of roof ports for our accessories, like the crossbars to fit into, kind of keeping that same structure through all of it. We have been playing with these kind of bike ports in the back, like our signature innovation of how can we do biking differently instead of just using the same rack that everyone else uses. Is there a way to be able to really look at how to make that experience easy for the customer. Can it fold up and go under your bed? Can it fold up and go in the front? Those systems are very, very complicated, but a lot of our customers, a lot of our fans, they bike. That's one of their favorite things to do. So really developing a suite of products around that. Adventure is a lifestyle for many of you, and for myself as well. Don't look so adventurous, but I do like to get outside and touch with nature. Our in-house design team, we have an industrial design team, we have a vehicle design team, we have an interior design team, we have a visual screen design team. It's all under one roof in California, and we're currently designing a suite of products that go with that. The treehouse and the tent being one of them. It's just such a beautiful experience. So, beautiful car here, R3. And this is our little wild child. This is our 3X. So, sure, a lot of people come here and excited to see it. I'm so happy we could bring it here for you today. Total pure driving. It's strange. A lot of people think EVs should just be super efficient and boring and all about range, and this is completely the opposite of that. Our design team is full of incredibly passionate designers, but also people that love vehicle design. They love driving. They love classic cars, new cars, whatever it would be. And this car kind of channels a lot of that for us. The colours and the fun that we have with the mirrors and the outside colour, the interior colours, it's all being channeled through that kind of like passion for cars, really. It's wider than an R3, so the bodies are the same between the two vehicles. The only things that are different are the bumpers, these kind of unique claddings and wheels and tyres, obviously, a lot wider. This car will be, I believe we've said, maybe sub 3 seconds, so it's going to be very, very fun to drive, very, very fast. I'm dying to get behind the wheel of one of these as well. What else can I say about it? I mean, it's, again, trying to do something in this space that feels small, it feels efficient, but also just evokes an emotion within you. That modern nostalgia comes out a lot for me in this vehicle. There's a lot of bygone vehicles that were super fun. Growing up in Europe, like rally driving was a big part of it. I used to go to rallies with my dad as a kid and sit out there in the rain in England and just wait hours for these cars to come past you in a forest. There's just nothing better than that experience for me, and a lot of our team kind of had those early memories as well with Rich Group B rallying and wanted to bring that sort of feeling into this vehicle. The interior is definitely our most playful interior that we've ever explored. You've got this beautiful cork material on the IP. You've got this very racing kind of inspired seats and steering wheel. Without it being over the top, we don't want it to feel so sporty that it puts a lot of people off. I think there's a beautiful blend of like kind of comfort and sportiness with still that premium sort of feel to it. We've got these beautiful recycled rubber floor mats in here. These beautiful kind of woven materials on the door. The little kind of metal inserts are just kind of, again, a little bit of a nod back to that heritage and that nostalgia and some of those like early racing seats from the 60s and 70s. Has a different spoiler as you look across between the R3 and R3X, a little bit more downforce. How do we kind of bridge that gap between aerodynamics, range, and still having like a vehicle that feels sporty when you're driving it too. So the wheels are beautiful, so unique. I've not seen kind of anything like that before. This kind of like dished out feeling of it. They do feel like, again, so that nostalgia of some of those wheels that you've seen in the past. This vehicle was super fun to design. It's weird, like some vehicles take a long time. They go through many iterations of where it would be. R2 has been kind of one of those projects for us. There's been a lot of different ways we've gone with it. And we realized that ultimately that was the type of car that we wanted to design. It was what people were asking for. We wanted a smaller, maybe more modern R1 as well. This vehicle, R3 was a little napkin sketch. Tony said, do we still draw with paper? Yes, that vehicle was literally drawn probably on a napkin or a piece of paper. It was a little just line drawing. And it came to reality very fast. We had it internally, somebody built a model of it. Someone saw it on a wall in the studio, and then we made a full-size model of it, and it just went really, really fast. And then when we were developing it, we're like, well, it's kind of cool, but we could do something even cooler. Why don't we try doing this X brand? Let's try to do this X expression, like what is the most fun we can do. We did a round of sketching on this, looking at what it could be, how wide could it be, what did the fronts look like, how much more could we do to it? put sketches up on the wall. I remember RJ and Jeff, our head of design, walking through the studio and just pointing at this one sketch of this vehicle. We put it into clay, straight into a quick digital model, straight into, we do full-size clay models of these things. They're like a big foam structure underneath, and we pack them full of clay. We have beautiful artisans at work that scrape them with little tools to create the surfaces and the shapes. We went straight into clay with it. I think from start to finish, R3X was like 3 months, which is kind of unheard of, but it was, because of that, I think it's why it's also so successful, because it's just such a pure expression of like what we wanted it to be. It didn't get diluted, it didn't get watered down, it was like, that's it, that's what we want it to be. And hopefully you all agree that that kind of shows within this vehicle. Yeah, what else can I say about it all, really? I mean, it's definitely been a fun year, really. It's R2 was kind of from start to finish was about a year in development in the design studio. We're a very small team. We have about 5 or 6 exterior designers, 4 interior designers, maybe 4 industrial designers that work on these vehicles, compared to a lot of other manufacturers that have hundreds of thousands of designers. So we do everything in-house. You know, we do the light design, we do the wheel design. We partner with Goodyear on the design of that specific tire over there. It's fun. It's definitely an amazing day job, and I'm super excited that we got to experience this with all of you. And if you have any questions, please do come find me. I'm happy to talk for hours and days about this stuff. It's definitely a passion for me. We don't get to share this stuff very often. We're literally locked in a little room in Irvine, California. It does have windows, heavily tinted so you can't see in, so don't try. And you know, but we don't get to really share this with people, and it's been such an amazing moment and a surprise to show R3 to the world, and I'm happy you're all here. So thank you very much.
Yeah. Tuck down to look up.
Sorry.